Thank you for waiting. And now we would like to commence the press conference. Today is Sunday. So this press conference will have to be adjourned at 4:50 because the meeting will be closed at 4:45. I'm Mori, in charge of public relations. First of all, I would like to invite Mr. Kurokawa to summarize what's been discussed in the hearing today, and after that, we would like to accommodate questions from the press. Chairman, Mr. Kurokawa. Thank you for gathering and joining us in this press conference. Today's meeting was the 15th meeting, and a current member of the lower house and a current Minister of Mtg and the former Chief Cabinet Secretary. From January 14, 2010 through the September, he served as a Chief Cabinet Secretary handling the earthquake, tsunami, and accidental nuclear power generation. He held very important position. Today, at the time of accident, how the PM, Prime Ministers of their residence and the government took the response measures to that, and also the situations in press conference was also picked up as a theme. So I would like to highlight some of the points of today's hearing. In today's hearing, there are several points were clarified, which the Commission was quite interested in clarifying that. After disaster, not enough information was collected from TEPCO, and he himself said, I know, and the government were somewhat frustrated. And although clear memory of the words were recollected when it comes to the withdrawal from TEPCO from the site, what I witness says that it will be a disastrous situation when there will be no other people remaining at the site, and the president of TEPCO actually lost the words. And although he contacted Mr. Yoshida, then it was clarified that Mr. Yoshida said he could do more than what he had done. And also, when it comes to information, there was no instruction that the prior consent of disclosing information be acquired from the Prime Minister's office when the people at the site made some press releases. But anyway, at the minimum, Mr. Idano said instruction called for the submission of information to Prime Minister's office at minimum when the information was disclosed from the people at the site for the press. And actually, although he said that he did whatever he could at the time, there was some gap in what he said and what people affected understood from his statements. So he delineated the importance of the risk communications. Also, it was identified there was not enough communication made. For example, the phraseology to make sure was utilized, but the rationale for the use of that word was not really explained. And he also mentioned that professional training would be needed for the person in charge of risk communications, and it will be too daunting a task for a chief cabinet secretary to wear two hats as a cabinet secretary as well as a press secretary. In the National Diet, in order not to repeat the similar accident, the open discussions will be held in a national diet, he said, and this commission, as an independent investigation body, to do enough investigation and hearing, and we would like to make our best efforts to make a report sometime in June. With that, now the opening floor for any question. The microphone will be available to you, so before you raise your question, would you please identify your name and affiliation? Please limit your question, only one question individually. The gentleman on the second row, please. Okonogi from Asahi Shimbun. We had a great expectation for the pursuit of truth at your commission, so I would like to raise a question from that perspective, addressed to the chair. Within Mr. Edano's statement, there is a new finding, and that is related to the withdrawal of TEPCO personnel. Mr. Edano understood as a complete withdrawal of TEPCO people at the site, and he gave one or two reasons behind that. But TEPCO consistently said that was not completely withdrawal, but a partial retreat. So if nothing done, then the discussion will just go here and there in parallel, and it'll be very difficult for the Commission to come a concerted view on this. So I think physical evidence might be required in this press conference. I think there are many people who raise the questions, as I am, in the previous Commission meetings, but having listened to Mr. Edano's statement, telephone conversation, all the records of telephone conversation between TEPCO head office and ATSCO, and between NISA and TEPCO, though the records of the communications, and within the PM offshore residence, any correspondence record, although it was denied that there was a record, and it was a quite surprising information to us. But I think it is expected the Commission will go through all those physical evidences to justify either side of the statements. President Shimizu and the Director of Plan, Mr. Yoshida, if he is in a ill health condition, maybe we should go there to really elucidate the true fact of the situation. Don't you think it's necessary? Thank you. Yes, I think those investigations will be required. And actually, term of reference of the Commission is always being asked, sometimes a question raised to the National Diet, and question to the people of Japan. The more we investigate, more questions we face with, and due to time constraint, in hearing, and also in preparing the report, there is a severe time constraint. So with your support, we would like to pursue these facets of truth.
The person in the very front. I am Ida from Kinyobi Weekly. I'd like to ask about the PR-related matters. Right after the hydrogen explosion, it took about 3.5 hours, but from the press conference, it seems as if things became very vague, and the answers given were that he did not know. And if he is to answer these questions, perhaps there had been instructions given not to say anything about these matters at that time. And whether or not we can ask these questions to Mr. Edano, the freelance reporters cannot go into the press conference. It seems as if NISA people can go in, but the freelance people who ask very severe, difficult questions cannot go in, and so cannot ask these questions of Chief Cabinet Edano at that time. So therefore, to the people of our country and to the local residents, it seems as if these very difficult questions were not asked on their behalf. The press conferences were not very open in that sense, as far as the Chief Cabinet Secretary's press conferences were concerned. From the point of view of the Independent Investigation Commission, how do you see this? Well, that's something that I had asked about, but Mr. Edano had said that at that time, NISA and TEPCO, if they were to release something, please relay that to us. He said that that was what he had asked them to do. But to whom he said this? He said it to the aides, apparently. The aides are all people that are outside this matter. So therefore, to make a judgment, maybe it was difficult to do this, whether or not Mr. Edano truthfully said this as it was today. But if we are going to make an announcement, we'll say it as such. It seems to me that that might be sufficient, but maybe that wasn't something that was relayed. And it seems as if everyone felt that that was how they felt, and so therefore they didn't make these announcements. It seems as if the reporters themselves might have put too much thought into what the persons involved were thinking. And maybe all of a sudden that's the reason why you heard about meltdown. Well, yes, indeed. Where was it that didn't do this, and who was it that was resisting this? That's not something that I know about. But now, because of this investigation going on, there's all kinds of books that have been published. I just wanted to ask a question about that directly. And thank you. Well then, the gentleman there.
Nico. My name is Nanao. On the 24th, after 1 year has passed, finally Tokyo Electric, the estimate value of the released radioactivity level, and the number 3, massive release on the 16th, the causes it describes were unknown. So even at this present time, there are a lot of phenomena who is not really understood. Currently, top officials of NISA have been heard and in the commission, and although there was time constraint for the is there any prospect that will make scientifically every phenomena understood in the future, because we still have unknown? Well, as I said repeatedly in the past, we can't really visit this site, and it'll take a long time for us to do a fact-finding. And commission members are doing their best, but there is a limit in manpower and time requirement. So I really hope that after the report is made, what activities be made in the future. And Mr. Shunsuke Kondo was referred to in the hearing. Do you have any plan to hear from him in public? When it comes to a mandate given to us by National Diet, rather than Mr. Kondo, I think somebody from NISA and the Nuclear Safety Commission, but those hearings from those organizations were done in camera. A gentleman in the first row.
Fujita, freelance reporter. On the 19th of March, on the 19th of May, there was a hearing that was conducted vis-a-vis Mr. Hosono, and he had said that the information can be disclosed, but it seems as if it will not be disclosed. How is it that you decide this? And if it's not going to be disclosed publicly, how will they be handled in the report? Also, if the precondition is to make sure that this is in camera, how will this be dealt with in the report? If you could please give us your thoughts as the head of this commission. This was mentioned at the town meeting as well. The evacuees want to have this information disclosed as much as possible, and the commission had said that it will try to disclose this information as much as possible. All the information needs to be disclosed from the point of view of the interests of the people. I just wanted to ask about that. Well, that's not something that we ourselves can decide. It depends on the persons involved, and we've heard from many people. and we've had Mr. Hosono as well, who have come. There's a certain policy that we follow. However, we'd like to write this up in the report. And Article 12, how it is that we will be receiving the information and utilizing the information, we need to write that up very carefully as well. In the third row, the person with the raised hand, please.
Miao from Tokyo Shimbun. Digressing from the main theme, when Mr. Nomura raised a question about the statement he made in press conference, I think it was a record from NHK. He said, I think, why did he pick up the NHK? He took the source from NHK, although the web pages of the official residence was no. Did he get from the source of NHK? No, that's not the case. I will confirm with Mr. Nomura later.
The lady in the middle, in the very front. It's a question that's been asked time and again. Regarding Mr. Shimizu, if you can please give us an update as to what's going on. Have you asked him to come as witness, but he has not replied as well as yet? And the telephone conversations between TEPCO and the Fukushima nuclear power station and such, have you asked for these information? Both of these are being considered, and right now we're not able to answer your questions regarding that. Last time, Mr. Shimizu said that this was being considered. So it's being considered. Well then, please.
Hirota from Monthly Factor. Today, soon after the accident, hydrogen explosions and meltdown, and there were no really sense of dangers, and there were statements alluding to the under-evaluations of the possibilities of those phenomena. And also he said that he heard something from Mr. Watanabe. Actually, Mr. Ito asked the executives of TEPCO to confirm that TEPCO intention was a complete withdrawal. So what about Mr. Watanabe and Mr. Ito, Deputy Chief Secretary for Risk Management? Or do you have any plan to hear from Mr. Watanabe and Mr. Ito in the future? Of course, I hear your question and suggestions, but how we record the hearings, how we secure the record of hearing is still a subject of consideration at this moment. The gentleman on the right.
Uesugi, former journalist. Thank you very much. The government response vis-a-vis the nuclear accident. Sumio Mabuchi, I just want to ask about him. At the press conference on the 12th of February, as far as the meltdown is concerned, this was not something that the government knew about until May. If that is the case, there is a discrepancy between what was said by Mr. Edano had said today and what Mr. Mabuchi had said. Is there a plan to have Mr. Mabuchi come as a witness and testify? Yes, we're going to conduct a hearing. We don't have very much time left, so we are trying to move as quick as possible. We'd like to hear from a great number of people. How is it that we'll hear from each and every one of these people that we need to hear from? Mr. Uesugi, as you know, from the 13th, as Chief Cabinet Secretary, he said there's this possibility of a meltdown. He mentioned this at his press conference, as he had stated. And why was it that it wasn't officially announced until June at the official government announcement? Please, the gentleman in the very front.
Koiba from Mainichi Shimbun. What was your observation, general observation, impression you derived from Mr. Edano's comments? What's your impression? No, I think you can write down your impression of Mr. Edano's answers, but my impression. The gentleman next to him.
Fujikawa from Akata Shimbun. As head of the commission with regard to the nuclear energy law and the reform of that, there needs to be a mission fulfilled by the commission to make its recommendations, you had said. But it seems as if the law was put together without taking into account the recommendations of your commission, and you're asking for a review of that. On the 29th, there will be further considerations regarding that, and I'm wondering what you have to say on that. Well, I don't know if they don't understand our commission and what it's trying to achieve. For the government to come up with a cabinet decision, that's something that the administrative branch decides. So as far as the legislative branch is concerned, it's our commission that's going to be conducting our independent investigation at our commission, because we've been tasked to do so by the legislature. So as far as the administration deciding to do what they're going to do, that's the political process that exists. So I did say, though, you're not taking into account our thoughts and our findings. We have very limited time, so if you would please be so kind as to limit yourselves to 2 more questions very quickly, please.
The person on the 3rd row. Hokkaido Shimbun, my name is Nishimura. And the meltdown issue, and I would like to confirm, Mr. Edano, according to his statement on the press conference of March 13, he said there is a sufficient possibility of meltdown, he said. So even there's a possibility of 1%, that is means the existence of possibility. When it comes to June the 7th, it is true that core was meltdown, but he didn't know to what extent, so he didn't have opportunity to express that. So from some time between the 2 time period, he changed his statement from a possibility of core meltdown to the definitely core is damaged, but to what extent. So I just wonder, was it March 13 that he was sure that core was suffering from meltdown? I confirm. I wanted to confirm, but in the last round I said why people didn't know the core was melt until the June 7th. The people didn't know, although he said that the March he was referred to the possibility. Okay, the lady in the back.
Masano, freelance reporter. As far as that meltdown is concerned, Mr. Edano, on the 13th of March, I think he did acknowledge that he knew about this possibility. But he said there is a high likelihood of that being the case. From the point of view of risk management, this is an issue. This needs to be said very actively from Mr. Edano. It seems as if this was announced a lot later, and there is a discrepancy that exists here. So on the 13th of March, Mr. Edano had said this. I felt that this was unfair of him. What did you think about that discrepancy that exists? I'd just like to ask about that. And this is just a comment. As far as the Diet is concerned, the Diet's going to be conducting its deliberations regarding this, and I'm wondering why they're talking about such a thing at this point in time. It's incredible. Well, he did make his statements, and I'm wondering how you all took it. I do feel that he did feel quite a lot of regret for all of this. Thank you very much for your cooperation today. This ends our press conference. Tomorrow, we will have former Prime Minister Kan appear as witness. If you will please participate tomorrow as well, we'd appreciate it. Thank you very much.